Hey guys, this is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. So, today I'm going to come and speak to you about the dismissive avoidant individual. But I'm going to do it a little differently today because, for the most part, I usually speak about maybe how the person that they're with experiences being in a relationship with someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. And today I want to really focus on how the dismissive avoidant individual processes and understands being in a relationship with someone else. If you remember, guys, the dismissive avoidant attachment style attached individual, when they were babies, their caregivers they weren't really very warm and fuzzy caregivers. Meaning, these caregivers would not be someone who, if the child is crying, really soothe them and rock them until then talk to them and kind of, they would just allow them to sit there and cry pretty much a lot of the times. And so after a lot of this happening, after a lot of times when the child may have gone to the caregiver to be soothed, and they recognized after a while that their caregivers were not going to soothe them. In fact, they may be told to go sit down or stop the crying or just kind of shoot away. And so this child learned to self-regulate. So at the opposite end, they never learned to co-regulate, which means that you go to the person that hurt you or that you feel did you some kind of a harm, to talk to them about something and then to solve the problem. So there was nobody showed up for them in that way, as their caregivers did not show up for them in that way. And so they learned that they had to just go in some little corner and whatever they did to self-regulate, right? So they learned very early that they really don't need anyone else to take care of their stuff when they're having problems. They considered problems. When they had a problem, if they were dirty or they're hungry or stuff and they went to their caregivers, it would be wait, sit down and wait, or whatever it might. It was just not, there was no emotional connection to the child, and the child never learned to really just interact with their caregivers in an emotional way. So today, these individuals, you as a dismissive avoidant partner, you may mistake yourself for being secure because you feel that being secure means that you don't need others to help you when you're like emotionally you're having emotional turmoil, but you don't recognize it as emotional turmoil. You just know that something is wrong, and then you go and you take care of it in a logical way. You're not looking at anything from really the emotional perspective as other attachment styles would, especially the anxious preoccupied, right? So as an adult, your mindset is focused more on logical solutions, and because you have learned to dismiss anything that had to do with emotional connections, and so you just approach solving your problem in a logical way. So when somebody says to you, you're not you're not vulnerable, you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable, right? You truly do not understand what that means, because you've learned not to take on this pity party kind of thing, which you believe that other attachment styles, especially the anxious person, does. That they're always coming to you with their emotional stuff to solve it. You can do that on your own, right? You do that on your own. So you do it in a logical way. What is the problem? What can I do about it? Pretty much it, right? And so you learn to solve your problems in a logical way. Has nothing to do with emotions. Now, you don't have a very high degree of emotional self-awareness. So you know that there are things that might be happening emotionally, but you kind of reject that and will just maybe look at the resulting cause of the behavior of feeling that emotion. So, for example, if you are if something hurts you and you're sad, then you're sad and you might want to go and you just go and kind of self-soothe by maybe watching TV or gaming or putting everything that you have in your work. So that's a solution that you would look towards. You would not look to say, for example, because you just never got to learn to do that. And so you approach everything from a logical way, right? And so what you would do is know that you're not feeling so good or whatever it is, but you would not sit and understand that this is an emotion I'm feeling and this is what why I'm feeling it and all that. You don't go through that, all of that, right? You just know that you're feeling sad and you know that this thing helped in the past. If you went and watched some type of movie or gaming or went running or something, but you would basically take care of whatever problems you have. You don't look to others because you've learned that you can't depend on others, right? Now, one of the other things that you may notice about yourself is that you find the behaviors of others, especially the anxious, preoccupied, who play the victim, who, they're always coming to you to be soothed and always complaining about not maybe having your attention and what you need to do emotionally, right? And so you find that very distasteful and you find that very annoying because you feel that people should take responsibility for their own emotions because that's what you were taught. That's what you learned as a child, right? If you had an emotional outburst or something when you're a child, your parents would, parent or parents would tell you to go, go and, that is silly, or they didn't validate it. And now you had to go and take care of it on your own. So you went and self-soothed and you learned that very well. The next thing that you may see, as a dismissive avoidant is that you feel the need to take care of everything yourself. You don't like to depend on others because as a child, again, you could not depend on your parents to be there for you when you needed them. So you've learned that if you need something, you have to go get it yourself. If you want something done, you have to do it yourself. So it's a very lonely and life, but they don't look at it like that. You don't look at it like that. You look at it as if this is a strength, and yes, it is a strength, but it's also a weakness because you've never learned to have people help you, which would cut down on a lot of just the aloneness of doing things and accomplishing things on your own. You really don't want to be a burden to others. That's what it basically boils down to. And so you're very self-reliant, because that's how you survived as a child. You're very self-reliant, and instead of asking for help, you would gladly give help, but you don't like someone to give help to you. Because there are two reasons why. You feel very uncomfortable that someone is helping you because you feel indebted to them and you don't want to be indebted to anyone. So you will go out of your way and do things for people. And the other thing is that you will do is that you will basically, the way that you show love for someone is out of doing things for them. So acts of service is what they would call it, right? In the love languages. So you are someone who would fix the roof and fix the window and fix the sink and fix everything, right? Or go out and take them to the garage, the car to be washed and stuff like that, things. But a lot of times you're in a relationship with somebody who's anxious and their love language is touch, physical touch and closeness, and physical touch and just wanting and time, quality time, right? So therefore, that is not your love language at all. And so when this person wants that all the time and you cannot give it, it can become very frustrating for you because you feel that you're showing love, by doing these things, but that is not their love language. So that is why it's so important, guys, to really, guys and gals, to really know what your partner's love language is. But then also, for the dismissive avoidant individual, you really don't know how to show that emotional connection because it was just never something that was showed to you. So it's very hard for you to process, and it actually makes you quite uncomfortable when somebody requires this of you, and it stresses you out pretty much. And then these are one of the times that you would have to leave the vicinity, whether it be physically or in your head. That to leave there, so you kind of stonewall if you're in your head, or turn up the TV high or whatever it is, so that you block out all of this attention. Or you might just leave the room where they are at, right? Because they may want to hug and cuddle, and you just don't understand why they need that. I mean, why that to them is what love looks like, while you feel that you're showing love by doing things and always doing things, taking out the garbage and cleaning the whatever it is that you do, right? But this is one of the things that you struggle with, right? You are very protective of your privacy and your alone time and your space. So you're not going to be very good living with others, like in a dorm kind of situation. You would not, I mean, if you have to, you might have to, but you're not going to be very comfortable, and you might be one of those who just basically sleep in the place and then go out and be by themselves, right? Because as a dismissive avoidant individual, you like to be in control of things because that's the only way you feel safe. So you want to control your environment. So in a space that's shared by other people, it's very difficult for you to be in control of that, because anytime now somebody's going to walk in, anytime they're going to bring in some guest, and you don't want to have all these people around you. So that is one of the things that you will notice about yourself, that you prefer to be in a place by yourself, alone, where you can control the environment and control who comes in and who leaves. Not who leaves, but who comes into your space, basically, right? And if given the opportunity, guys, you will choose to have your space, your privacy, and your time over a relationship. So therefore, you will, because for you, these take priority. A relationship is nice to have, but for you, it's not up there with your space, your privacy, and your time, your alone time. So you will choose, because remember, you're not so anxious. You're like the anxious individual who always wants to be in a relationship. That's not who you are. So you can be by yourself and you're quite happy. And so if the person you're with is requiring a lot of time and all that cuddling and stuff that you can't give to them, you'd rather not have a relationship and choose your time, your privacy, and your space over them, even if you love them. The next thing is that I mentioned the routine. You create routines. No, I don't know. I didn't mention that. To feel feel like you have a sense of control over your life. You will notice that you have a lot of routine. So you have things that you do every day at a certain time. You'll go to a certain lunch place to buy lunch. I knew somebody like that. They went to pretty much the same time to buy lunch at the same time. They came home at the same time. They left at the same time. Left for work at the same time. They were very uncomfortable with spontaneity. So you can't just say like, "Can we go here?" and it wasn't planned. It makes them very uncomfortable because they don't feel in control. You don't feel in control when somebody comes out of the blue and say, "Can we go here? Can we go there?" Whatever it might be, right? And you just didn't have it in your plan, right? So the plan and the routine really creates a sense of control for you, and so you prefer to have that in your life. You build a routine around everything that you do so that you feel in control. You feel safer that way. It's very difficult for you to be self-aware because you really don't look at the reasons. You're not someone who is going to investigate, because for you everything has a logical answer. you don't realize that there are certain things that is emotional, so you won't notice the emotional feelings that come before any kind of a behavior. It's very difficult for you to kind of get to there unless you start healing, because that's one of the things I do when I work with my clients, is that when they're not able to really embrace the emotions and the vulnerability, and because of this, guys, because of this, you are not going to be one of those people who might seek out coaching or help, because you really don't think that there's anything wrong with you. You really don't think there's anything wrong with you. You may know that people are complaining that you hurt them and whatever it is, but you are not doing it intentionally. You're really not doing it intentionally. You're just acting from this place of logical, everything is about logic. There's nothing to do with emotions, because that was not something you learned. That was not something that you have experience with as a child. And so as an adult, you just don't know how to be vulnerable. You don't know how to, just bare your soul, as they may call it. So that's very difficult for you. The next thing is, when there is an issue, when there's a problem, there's an argument or something that maybe your partner is not happy with, and they say to you, and the partner might get very upset and say something really terrible to you or to hurt you. One of the worst things that somebody can do to you is to criticize you or to shame you, because that was what you had as a child. Your parents or your caregivers would shame you when you're emotionally, you tried to go to them for some emotional connection, or you were crying, or you needed someone to understand something that was happening that made you sad. So you were shamed and criticized when you were a child, and now you've come into this place where that is one of the a traumatic thing that can happen to you, is being shamed or criticized by your partner. And so that's very difficult. And so but the thing is that because you've never learned to co-regulate, meaning going to someone that hurt you and talking to them about, what they did that hurt you and how it hurt you, you automatically leave the scene and go somewhere by yourself to self-regulate. And so that's how you operate in a relationship, because that's more comfortable for you. And as I mentioned, acts of service is how you show your love, because emotional, that kind of stuff is just not you. And so because of acts of service is something that where you show your love, you are going to be somebody who's a very good provider. You're a very good provider, right? But the emotional part in that relationship is very lacking. But you believe that you put a roof over my head, food on the table, you can buy clothes or whatever, you know what I'm saying. That is showing love, but your partner is not feeling loved, because their emotional needs are not being met. And so it's very painful for them to be in a relationship with you, even though you don't recognize it, because you believe you're doing the best. You're doing everything. You're showing love to them by going to work and providing. There's always food on the table, there's money in the bank, there's savings, you can all of that. So take them on vacation even. And so you are a very good provider, but and you don't recognize that there's this emotional part of you that's lacking, that's needed for a relationship, especially an intimate relationship with your partner. So basically, guys, I hope that kind of opens up some other way of understanding how someone with the dismissive avoidant, if you're the dismissive avoidant partner, how you understand yourself in that relationship, and how, if you can understand that, then you can see also why it is that maybe some of your partners may have complained about certain things, especially the emotional connection they feel with you. So guys, this is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. I hope this helps you to think in a different way, or to at least add some more information to help you to understand your attachment style. And if this is something that was helpful to you, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more content that I'll prepare as soon, as often as I can. So guys, take care and have a great day. Please don't forget, check out my there's a join button right under each video, and it's a membership channel that I have, so go ahead and check out the memberships and see what is going to work for you. All right guys, take care, and until next time, I'll see you. Bye bye.